You ever heard of Dick Tracy? The American comic strip from the late 30s? They made a Hollywood movie in 1990 and several video game adaptations were made from the movie. This video is about the Mega Drive game. We're going to take a look at why this game was and still is underrated, why it's actually an important game in history, and how it's an amazing video game, truly, that you should know about. Now, this game did not sell well. Sega had a late involvement with it that they complained about, which meant that the game came out when the movie already had been in the theaters for like 8 months or something like that. So the game was not well received back then. It was actually very poorly received. And that combined with nowadays' fact that I think people just don't bother with this game because it's very difficult and it might look like the color design, in my opinion, might look like it's bland. You know, it makes it very underrated because people don't give it a chance and people didn't give it a chance back then. But I'm here to tell you about what an amazing video game it is. So let's take a look at this right here. It's a 3-button game like most Mega Drive games, just only at 3 buttons. Ignore my controller. Jump, shoot, and then you can shoot at the background. And when I say you can shoot the background, I really mean you can shoot at the background. You're not supposed to though, because you're a cop and you get an extra point bonus if you don't actually shoot anything in the background for the entire level, which turns out is actually pretty freaking hard, just like the entire game is. This game is such a good movie adaptation. I want you to take a look at the enemies, how everybody's just wearing a single color suit, and you might be like, wow, that looks boring. No, I played this game right after watching the movie, and I was astonished really at how good both products were. I would warmly recommend you do the same because I had the best time, dude. The movie is so good and so is the game. This building isn't purple because they ran out of colors on the Mega Drive. That building is purple because that's how the freaking movie is, and the freaking movie is an amazing touchstone movie, which means it's a Disney movie. The sprites, they look very Japanese to an expert eye, and they really do, and they really are. But we say this is a Sega of America game. Isn't that weird? Let me explain to you why that is, as I also show you more quirks about the game and how the stage design actually works. This game technically has like 16 stages or something like that. In some of them, you don't get to use a weapon. In this one, I can only punch. And here, I want to highlight 2 really good things. This dude's shooting at me, and he's always shooting 3 bullets before he reloads. What happens if I only let him shoot 1 bullet? You know? Well, I could die. If I only let him shoot 1 bullet, now he only has 2 in the tank. And after shooting those, he will have to reload. So the game actually keeps track of how many bullets they have, which I think is really, really unique and cool. Now, these stages without a gun also have a stealth way of doing them. So right now I waited for the enemy to turn around and then I could assault him on his back. I think that's really cool. We're talking about how this is an STI game. That stands for Sega Technical Institute, which was the Sega of America development branch, which Mark Cerny founded. Now, I know Mark Cerny from Marble Madness, because that's where he got his start, Atari, when he was 17. You may know Mark Cerny for his work on modern console architecture. In the meantime, check out the freaking car sections where you can still shoot on the foreground, you can still shoot in the background, and then you can crouch the bullets, or you can jump on top of the car with the jump button, and you can still shoot in the background while you do that, and the game works just flawlessly. It works so freaking well, I swear. One thing that does not work very well in this game is the bump mechanic. Like if you actually go and touch an enemy with your sprite, not in this section. This section, however, you can bump the opponent's cars in the foreground and that works beautifully. If you bump an enemy, the collision will be kind of wonky. And that is kind of reminiscent of Shinobi, the original Shinobi, the arcade Sega developed game. And that is not a coincidence. You see, STI, Sega Technical Institute, the Sega of America development studio founded by Mark Cerny, enrolled Japanese people. Mark Cerny spoke fluent Japanese. Mark Cerny was hired by Sega to work at a bunch of Master System games. I'm trying really hard not to bore you with the exciting details of this company, but the gist is that he would try and employ Japanese talents and American talents in America. Like he would employ Japan talent in America. So we got to do the artwork, the programming, excuse me. He got the Shinobi programmer, whose name I will put on screen because I forget. And then Takeshi Doi, an animation guy, also Japanese dude that worked on the graphics. And at that time, look at this, I'm dead. At that time, STI only had those two dudes, Mark Cerny and Sugano was the Shinobi dude to work on it. So that was quite the task they had to fulfill, but they did it, and I think they did a great job. Now, other than the STI stuff, I want to show you some really mental stuff about this game. You've seen the normal game, you've seen the no weapon gameplay, you've seen the car gameplay. What about bosses? Well, this is the first boss. By the way, every boss, every character has the likeness of the actors from the movie. Even Al Pacino, who's the final. I don't want to spoil you too much. This is the first boss you see. I want you to play this game or just know about it. So I'm not here to spoil you the ending. This is Ichi. Ichi is, itchy. So when he appears, he will scratch his head or his ass or his elbow before he even attempts to shoot you. And that's how boss fights happen in this game. They are in the background, so you use your Tommy gun to shoot them in the background, and then maybe the screen scrolling stops and you have to deal with them alone without the enemies. But the way they're just involved, part of the scenery and of the level design is so good. And you might be like, whoa, does this game really have 6 times? So that's 18 stages. This game has 6 stages, and every stage has 3 parts. You'd be like, the tile set's gonna repeat a lot. No, the tile set's gonna be fine. I swear. I want you to see the bonus rank, the target practice shoot. This is how you get extra credits to learn the game and not get destroyed. And these are all like bosses. That's Al Pacino I just shot. But you only want to shoot the bad guys, and this works so well. You can press 2 or 3 buttons at once, and you will just flawlessly recognize your input. This is the first time you go through it. The other times you go through it, it's going to be really hard to even get an extra credit because you have to hit all the bad guys and not hit the good guys who look like bad guys sometimes. Like the cook looks really evil. Al Pacino's cutout's got walnuts on the bottom right of it because that's what he likes, in the comics, of course, but in the movie. Now, I want to show you some extremely bullshit fights. This is a flat top, the 5th stage boss. This is the Ritz Club, where in the movie Madonna is singing, where you shoot flat top in the background, you want to go back so he doesn't keep shooting at you. This is a strategy I found out, which you might find really useful. Now, as you do that, later you're gonna actually fight flat top alone, so I'm just gonna show you that. Again, this fight's really hard because the bullets are really fast, and the way the animation goes, it's hard to understand when they're actually gonna hit you, and you don't know if it's gonna shoot high or low. And when it shoots low, you have to jump. The tip I can give you is you can jump way sooner than you think you can. But this is not the harder part. Once you get past that part, you get this lights out fight, where what you wanna do is you wanna stay at the center and just jump as soon as he turns the lights back on, and try to dodge that and hit him ASAP. That's the strategy. See how I successfully dodged that even though it was a high pattern, and then again that worked out. That's how you want to do it. You just want to keep doing that. I promise it's your best shot. This boss fight is the second hardest part of the game. Next up, though, I want to show you a stage that really caught me off guard with just how good it was. The stage right after that boss fight, as a matter of fact, which is another sewer stage. Which is another stage where you cannot use your gun, and it's a sewer stage. But the sewers are of this color. And this might look stupid, like it's an NES game where they ran out of colors to use, like the Batman game, but it's just, look at that. The light bulbs are pink. This is such a good movie adaptation. I cannot stress this enough. This stage gave me so much satisfaction to beat because it truly is a puzzle stage. If you play this through, you will know exactly what I mean. Insane satisfaction. Finally, to double down on the colors, look at this other boss fight. This is not how a game should look like, but it does, again, because it's a good movie adaptation. I'm gonna put like a couple of pictures from the movie so you know what I'm talking about when I say that this is amazing. But for how good this game is not for everyone. If you undertake this Dick Tracy quest, know that you will fail a lot, you will die a lot, you will have to learn this kind of long action game. But few things in life for me were as satisfying as coming through and beating this game. I felt so good, dude. I'm choking up because of the emotion. I actually cried when I finished this game. If you're not gonna take that, you know, you can just still let this video act as a love booster for video games that tend to go under everybody's radar, and maybe just as a reminder to ignore loud people on the internet who just don't like video games as much as you and I do. Ciao.